Hey there, I'm Tracy Rigdon, and this is the Contrast Project Lounge Podcast. Often random, but always relevant, always real, and practically nothing is off limits. This podcast is for you. Are you ready for this? Let's do it. Welcome back to the show, guys. I want to thank you all for being here today. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, Threads, and YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and smash all of those subscribe buttons. I had joining me today, local artist from Jacksonville, Florida, artist, illustrator, businesswoman, and a total punk, Brenda Cato. Brenda, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you? That's an awesome introduction. Woohoo!
I'm glad we finally got you on here. I know we've had some scheduling issues in the past, but we get it done.
Yeah. I can't. I'm so busy. Like my schedule is ridiculous. And your schedule's ridiculous. So it was a minute, right?
I know it. You know, it just happens that way. You know, about half of the people I schedule either reschedule or I have to reschedule. It's about half. So it takes quite a while. And plus, it takes me about a month to 3 months just to get a person on the show. This fifth season, we're going to cap out the season with 40 episodes. So
wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I'll start recording again for season 6. It is, and I'll start recording again for season 6 in probably late August, maybe early September. But between now and then, you're still going to get new episodes every week because I've already recorded most of them. Yeah. So I see we have some artwork here behind you. For those that are watching on YouTube, she's got a bunch of artwork in the back of her in her studio there in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yay! So we'll start with sunflowers.
Let's do that.
I'm working on.
Let's do that. Also, that brings up, of course, the topic that that's been buzzing around. It's in the over on the interwebs in Jacksonville, Florida, right now, and it's brought up a lot of attention. Is the sunflower mural that you did in Murray Hill over there in Jacksonville, and Murray Hill's a nice walkable neighborhood. It's a very creative neighborhood. A lot of artists over there, and it's got them up in arms that there just may be something bad happening over there.
Yeah, so there is a unfortunate trend right now, but hopefully it's just a fluke and it won't turn into more of a trend. But there have been several murals that are beautiful and wonderful that have been painted over, and then even some really, really nice mosaic work just painted over white. And it's like, really? I don't understand. And make me understand. But yeah, it's very unfortunate. And so unfortunately, my sunflower mural and the adjacent jellyfish mural are also on the planned removal list. The new building owner is a church, and they plan to paint it gray, the whole building gray.
Wow.
So I have, done my best I reached out to them directly, and we had to talk about it to try to convince them that the neighborhood loves the murals and would like those to be preserved. Mm-hmm. They're still stuck on eventually painting over it. The reason they're not painted over right now is they are working on another building that they bought. It's the J&W building on Post and Edgewood. And there's like a alleyway behind. It's now the Walrus. It used to be ATS across the street. But and there's like a Solaris Mexican joint right there on the corner. There's a nice alley in the back. And so the murals are in the alley side of this this building. And so they haven't they're working on their other buildings right now, and that's why it's still there.
Yeah.
I have a petition on my website where you can go to at catocreative.com. That's Kato creative.com, and sign the petition. Or like you can like reach out directly to the church and let them know like why you value the murals and you would like them to be preserved. Or I have on Google Maps, you can go leave a review.
Right.
And so it's got 5 stars review for a tourist destination for the city. And it's actually even a Pokemon stop. It's been a Pokemon stop since I first painted it, which is crazy.
How about that?
It's awesome.
Well, like you were saying, yeah, well, you were saying, about all this, stuff, and it's not just Murray Hill, it's other places where people are painting over artwork. And one of my pet peeves is when I see someone go in and buy a very old home, and it's a brick home, and they paint over the brick. Oh, I hate that. I hate it. I mean, yeah. it might look nice in pictures from a distance, but then when you get up close and you figure out, oh hell, this place is brick. They painted over the brick.
Yeah, so Murray Hill, we have a preservation association, and the unfortunate irony about that is that the mural project, it was Jason Tetlak, and I and several artists decided we needed murals in Murray Hill, probably like 7 years ago now. And we did a call to artists, and we asked for artists to send in their artwork. And then Jason went around and shopped the portfolio to all of the property owners at the time and had them choose out of the portfolio what they wanted on their building. And they paid for the materials and like a little bit for the artist's time and labor to execute it. And it really beautified the area, and everybody loves it, like that I know of anyways. And it really helped like curb some of the blight that had been happening. Like there was a lot of tagging, and fortunately it's like a street code where the people that are doing like the tagging, they're usually, not always, but usually they will not paint over an artwork because it's respect, right? And for the art, that there's something good looking. But one of my dismays sometimes with my fellow residents in Jacksonville is that they will drive by rundown, blighted looking areas and have like no problem with that, right? I mean, I'm over here on the west side, and so they'll just live their whole life driving by all this blighted looking stuff, and then an artist will like pop up something beautiful on it to make it look better, and then you go on social media and there's nothing but crap talking. Like you can see some of that right now with the where the entrance to Murray Hill, and they've done that nice mural, and we're gonna get like a nice a light installation out of that, and there's just nothing but like blah blah blah. I got my opinion, and it's terrible or whatever. I mean, a lot of people like it, but
you see that, that happens far too often in many neighborhoods where, they'll go in there and try to improve aesthetically or to make the area more aesthetics, as in appealing to the eye or the experience of, being able to walk through, making it walkable, which the main street going through the center of Murray Hill is very walkable. Very similar to like 5 Points, and that area very walkable, and you have them spotted all over town. But if you ask if the city comes up with funds for these people to beautify their area, then you hear a bunch of naysaying about our tax dollars. Why can't we just fix the potholes?
Yeah.
They're going to complain about, they complain about a paint job, but I guess it is what it is. Hey, listen.
I remember they were like
Yeah,
They were
yeah, go.
mad about Bill Murray Hill mural,
Oh yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah, and that's
which I
one of.
think it's amazing.
I think it is too. That's one of Tetlak's, right?
Oh yeah, Jason's
Yeah.
such a great mural artist.
Oh yeah, yeah, and he's
We
got
have
that.
so much talent in
I
Jacksonville. Like we
know.
could cover every square inch of with masterworks. So let's make that happen.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I had similarly recently had a discussion about the mural art in Jacksonville with MJ Henson, and she was our thing was how why is it that the city brings in so many now? I mean, I get it. Even muralists locally, and they'll take a gig in another town too. I get it. But
Oh yeah.
it gets me sometimes when I see that a very large piece goes up in Jacksonville, and 9 times out of 10 it's from somebody that's out of town.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, you would
That's
think that
human
some of the
nature.
locals, yeah, well, yeah, like I said, that's a 50-50 thing. Of course, a local muralist, will go to another town and take a job. Of course, I get it. But then again, we have a lot of muralists in Jacksonville that are very talented, and they could collaborate on some pieces.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just a weird phenomena from like human nature in general that you kind of like, or you're like more respected in other towns than you are in your hometown. Something
Yeah.
about your hometown that there's and it's not, and it's a phenomena that a lot of everybody's witnessed. And then like if you get credit in another town, then now suddenly you get your credit rises in your hometown. Like I remember going to like Orlando and like selling out of my artwork there where, there wasn't a lot of buyers in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And then my credibility, local credibility also rose when after I spent like 10 years in New York living there and doing what I do. Design, web
But
design and marketing.
well, that's a star on your lapel. Is if a lot of artists or designers, creators of any kind, if they can tell people that they spent a little bit of time in New York, everybody, their eyebrows raise. They went to New York.
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to go to art college too. I went to my degree in illustrations from Ringling School of Art and Design, and I really went with Ringling because I wanted that prestige. That's an
Hmm.
expensive piece of paper, so I needed that prestige that comes with it.
Well,
And it
sure.
has served me. Like it has served me. There's plenty of times when along the way where I was just another artist or designer in the mix until they discovered I was a Ringling graduate and suddenly my opinion was more valuable. So it did its
Nothing.
job.
Nothing wrong with that, because not only are you involved in doing murals and stuff, but like you mentioned, illustrating printed materials, and of course the artwork we see on in the background there. Uh,
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about some of your. You've got some books that you've illustrated, children's books, and
Yeah.
you've got a couple more on the way, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. I'll start with what I've already gotten accomplished. I'm working with a really nice artist named Marla McKenna. I met her in New York. We were both in the marketing department at a company called New Tech Business Services. Anyways, we she's the author, and we wanted to create positive content for children to focus on positive thinking and self-esteem. And so this is one I did called I'm a Secret Superhero.
Yeah.
And this one is I'm working on a new version of this that's getting re-released. And the main character here, you see she's a cute little white girl here, but she's the new secret superhero will be African American Black, and that's coming. The reason I'm going that direction. Well, okay, first off, let me explain that every character in this book is a cartoon of my friends' kids. And so one of the things about this book is that it has diversity in it, but they're
Yeah.
actually my friends' kids. So, uh, and I designed each character to actually have their own series. So, but I am on the board of directors of the Center of Achievement. Have you ever heard of them?
Vaguely.
Not a lot of people have.
Vaguely.
They have a
Vaguely.
building downtown, and yes, uh, Gertrude Peel is the founder, and she was an amazing lady. She helped so many like children in the area and disadvantaged, and
Mm-hmm.
had a huge nonprofit and helped, coordinated with a lot of others. And then her daughter, she's passed, and her daughter Gail has taken over the charge of that nonprofit. I've been on the board for about 10 years, and so we do different initiatives, and we're doing like a self-esteem thing. So we're going to be giving this book out to a bunch of little girls, and their demographic is mostly Black. So we wanted them to see themselves. The whole point of the book is about self-esteem and finding your talent and using your talent to help other people, like add value to this world. Do good work. Use your talents for good, not evil.
and you mentioned that each of the children that you had illustrated in there, you're working on a series for each one.
Eventually,
Eventually,
the queue, but and this got. I mean, the reason this came to the reason I'm focused on this one right now at this particular point in my journey, actually May is my deadline, is to be able to get it printed and given out to these girls that are in our program for a Center of Achievement.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, you mentioned Miss Peel, the late Miss Peel, and I'm going to skip ahead just a second because we were just talking about murals. Sure. You're going to be doing a mural in the near future commemorating or memorializing Miss Peel.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So their building is downtown and the Center of Achievement. And so the side that is facing when you're coming down the Union off ramp and onto Union Street from 95, if you look over to the right, you can see their building. So we're basically making that side of the building like a big mural, and it's going to honor Gertrude Peel and then highlight some of the programs that we're doing, or that she did and that we're doing now still.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic.
That's one of the murals in queue for me. I've got 3 right now.
You got 3 in queue. Still busy. But
I'm so busy.
With all of your other projects, and we'll get to those in just a minute, but with all of your projects going on and the murals and the illustration and everything, let's talk a little bit about your day gig. We know that well, most of us know that it's hard to make a living with a paintbrush or digital art, or with digital art. So how the heck do you pay your bills?
So I pay my bills. My fancy title is user experience designer, and I design websites mostly. So for large global organizations, and also for smaller businesses, but they need to be able to afford me. They need to be able to do some advertising.
I hear you. It's a lot of work doing it. I was doing sites for a long time. I actually still fart around with a handful of them. I've got a half a dozen of them on my server. I lease a server, and I've been leasing it for about 12 years now. And I just, it just got to the point where, all of my other projects, I couldn't keep up with, doing any more of that. And plus I'm semi-retired. So
Yeah.
So podcast.
No, I know, because
So podcast it is.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you have to focus. So that's like one of my issue right now is time management. So I'm trying to like focus on one or two things at a time per month. So right now I'm focusing on that re-release of the I'm a Secret Superhero, and then my other major project that I'm spending time on is the JaxPunx project. JaxPunx History Project.
JaxPunx History Project, and that's why I mentioned at the very beginning, not to upset anybody when I called her a real punk. She's JaxPunx History Project. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so my friend Rafe Goodwin came to. We had coffee, and he's like, I've got wind of a music museum coming at some point in the future, and he's knows people over at the Jacksonville Historical Society, and I guess he got a sneak peek, or was looking at some of the history that they had collected, and he was saying that that they did have Stevie Stiletto, but they didn't have any of the other bands from our particular time in music in Jacksonville, like us coming up. I'm talking about like Rafe and I were friends in elementary school, so like when we went to high school together, we grew up together, and so we grew up in the local Jacksonville punk scene, and I'm not a musician, but I have always been like a promoter. So I helped promote a lot of the punk bands and whatever was going on. And I was going to Westside Skills Center at the time, and I had access to be able to make t-shirts, silkscreen t-shirts, and like do graphics and airbrushing and flyers. And so I did some of that to support the bands that are around at the time. Anyway, so I have been interviewing anybody that I can get a hold of. It's hard to get a hold of people, and getting them to tell their story. Kind of like, I don't know if you're familiar with StoryCorps from NPR.
Yes.
It's two people talking. I love that format. And then I'm really kind of copying my friend Drew Stone. He's a filmmaker in New York, and he has New York Hardcore Chronicles, where he started that whole project off just asking 10 questions to everybody in the New York hardcore scene up there, and it turned into a really awesome podcast and also a movie. So I was inspired by that and was like, this is what we need to do for Jacksonville punks, because there's so much, talking about like visual artists here that are amazing. There's so much rich music history. And so, I know a lot of the punk scene. And so that's, and I love that music, and I like metal, and I like any kind of music with a beat, but like I grew up in the punk scene, so like I feel like it's more authentic for me to do this history project in that specific genre. And it's been well received, and I'm excited about the progress we've made. And the website is jaxpunx.com. I have the icebreaker questions, which are kind of like the 10 questions, and people can interview themselves and send it in, or they can arrange a time for me, and I'll bring my equipment. My husband Rob has a recording studio, so we have nice recording equipment, but it doesn't have to be fancy. We're just trying to document the stories of everybody that was there. We want their perspective, and then the history will be put together like a patchwork via the website, and collecting flyers and photos and videos, or anything we can get our hands on.
That's great, and you're right. It is a lot of work when you talk about some of the history, whether it be punk music or any of the music that happens to be a very rich background in Jacksonville, Florida. There are a lot of people, that have, collected, the playbills and flyers and posters and, all the photographs from concerts throughout the years, but it's hard to dig them up. It's hard to find them.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's some people out there that have some really nice collections and have a good memory.
So I wanted to use my
and have a good memory for those days.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of like I wanted to use my skill set of websites to like provide a website, and every person is going to have a page, every band will have a page, and every venue will have a page, and then as much as we can collect from everybody as a collective to create this, time capsule for ourselves. And what I wanted to do was like, I'm not a writer, but I can collect and organize. And so like I was like, okay, well, let's get everybody to tell their story. Let's put it all together. And for anybody who cares, I don't know who's going to care, but I care. So maybe somebody else will care. And also, like some journalists in the future, whoever wants to write an article, they can actually go and go through this content and say, okay, let's hear from the real people that were there.
Yeah, I mean, you have to get eyewitness accounts. That's the way to get stories out there. And as far as you're saying, I'm not a writer. I'm far from that either. I start it takes me forever to get sometimes put together stuff. And I'll be honest with you, I use AI to put together outlines and give me topic ideas and stuff. I do. I can get.
AI's great, right?
I can get outlines and topic ideas and stuff like that. And plus, you can use transcripts from all your shows. All your recordings. You can upload them to your chat bot, and it'll pump out a nice little summary for you.
Yeah, AI. I really,
but you got to
like
edit.
a lot of the tools that are accessed.
Yeah, but you have to edit it.
Oh, of course, right. Yeah, it's far from perfect. But I mean, you would want to edit it anyways, right? You're not gonna publish anything that you haven't perused, edited. But like one of my favorite use cases right now for AI is some tools that are enabling me to take old photos and increase their resolution and their dimensions, so that they can be presented on our new resolutions, our large screens, and also printing, being able to print it out at a higher quality. That's amazing. I love that.
Oh yeah. I love the tools. Honestly, when it comes, to the art, the art, that category, that segment, I play with it, every now and again, just for the heck of it. I know there are some people that really pump out some really nice AI generated images. I just play with it. Most of what I use it for is business stuff.
Oh yeah, totally. Well, I see it as like the snake eating its tail, right? It's like Google is search engines rank you based on your relative content. So then, okay, let's create all these tools to create relative content. So it's like he's pushing out relative content, and then to win the ranking game, the SEO, search engine optimization ranking game. So, and then, so now they're like, oh, what did we do? And now they're, dinging you if you're not, I mean, it's still a relative game, like, Google's in the business, or any search engine in the business of like answering questions. And if they get it wrong, then you're going to go to a different search engine. So they're still interested in giving the right answer for people.
Yeah, and Google just ChatGPT just did a big update, and it is phenomenal. And Google just did a big update and re-release of their AI bot, Gemini, and it's scary good.
Yeah, I think that maybe people like us have really benefited from the writing aspect of it because, like I said, I'm not a writer, but I'm an idea person. So I have like
Mm-hmm.
ideas for days and I can like put all the ideas in and I prompting. I'm like really good at prompting because, I can do talking points for anything and then put it
Yep.
in there and ask it the right questions and then it spits out all of this stuff that I can use. But then at the same time, it's like I haven't set up the bots to then take what it gives and then push it back out. Like it's still like bottlenecked on me, the human, and my time. Like how much time? Okay, now I have the action plan to take over the world, but it's me and who else?
I know. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Now,
So it's
you're
just knowledge. I mean, it's like
yeah, yeah.
like knowing what to do. I know what to do. It's just like having the resources to do it. Like people are like, why don't you do marketing for all of these places so well? Why don't you do more marketing for you? And I'm like, well, I don't have the $50,000 marketing budget that they,
Right.
but maybe soon.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I keep plugging away at this podcast. I mean, very, very, very few podcasts ever make a dime. It's kind of like all these high school kids, yeah, dreaming of becoming an NFL star, and
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
1.5 million will make it. So, it's the same with podcasts.
Oh yeah.
I think nationwide there's 2,000 new podcasts that record their first episode every day.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, we're wrapping up our 5th season here, and I foresee probably going another 5 seasons before I ever see a dime. But I'm gonna keep
Oh
doing
yeah,
it.
sure.
I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So
Hey,
I've always like
go ahead.
go ahead. I
Oh,
was saying I've always kind of
yeah.
like compartmentalized in my mind like um my what I do like commercially and then what I do for myself, my passion projects. So
Mm-hmm.
like that's been helpful to do that.
Yeah, I know. Hey, you got another. There's some other projects you got going. Rad Cat Promotions. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, Rad Cat promotions. Yes. Okay, so um and I wish I had a printout of that, but maybe we can insert it. But anyways,
Yeah.
Rad Cat Promotions is basically the name for promoted the band promotion that I'm doing with my husband. So my husband is Rob Race, Rob Society. He is a local punk singer, and he has taught himself how to record, mix, and master the music for his band.
Mm-hmm.
And he's started recording for a couple of people, a couple other people. He's still
Yeah.
mostly focused on his content and publishing uh, his band's content. And I've been having a lot of fun with my illustration, doing the illustration work and the graphics work for his songs coming out. So we're publishing on DistroKid every 3 weeks because the algorithm seems to work really well for that cadence. And so I've been having a little illustration project to publish every 3 weeks with his song, and that's been really fun. But Rad Cat Promotions, it comes from a little drawing that my niece did of a cat on a skateboard, and then I extrapolated that into another illustration of a girl skateboarding, punk girl skateboarding, and my ambition for that is to put out a surf skate uh, punk artwork and imagery
Mm-hmm.
to promote that and be able to use that library for promoting his band and any other bands we work with. I'm working with the Radio Poets, and they're a local band, and most people know Tommy Berlin because he's a legendary punk rocker. He was in Stevie Stiletto and a lot of other bands. So yeah, it's basically my brand for promoting the local music scene, local music.
Very nice. Now, yeah. And your husband, Rob, the name of his band is Left on High.
Yes, Left on High.
Yeah.
And this artwork right here is done by Jimmy Pines.
I like that.
So
if you guys are just listening to the audio here, she's got this T-shirt on here, and I'm going to have pictures of this on our website. That's some really cool stuff. I like that.
Yeah, Jimmy Pines is an amazing, amazing artist. And so it was like, it doesn't have to always be about me. Like I like highlighting and promoting other artists. So, that's kind of like Rad Cat Promotions. It's like, I like to promote others.
Absolutely. And so you've been, I take it you and your husband, Rob, and his band have been doing some fairly regular shows, or you've been promoting other shows out at Kona Skate Park.
Yeah, we really love playing out at Kona. Recently, we did a pop-up. It was the JaxPunx pop-up, punk rock pop-up. And we had 7 bands and 7 vendors. And it's really fun scene out there. I really like playing Kona because you've got a lot of kids out there, and they have the kid natural energy. So it's like, my age group, if they still come out to shows, they are, they're usually like, yeah, but they're not super high energy. So like, I love it when it's like all ages, and there's more energy in the pit.
Yeah. Well,
people like to dance, and
I can imagine you probably see all ages. For one reason, I will tell you this: if I'm not mistaken, Kona Skateboard Park in Jacksonville, Florida, for those of you who don't know, is one of the oldest continually run skate parks in the nation.
Yes, I know. And Martin is carrying on the torch for his family. They've been doing a great job all this time, and he's got a lot of cool projects coming out right now. They're working on a vert project where they want to revive the vert ramps, and so they've got like a GoFundMe going, and I do their website and help them with promotions.
It's really cool that they've started doing these events out there at the park, because I'm going to age myself here, and I will tell you, I was at the grand opening of Kona. On a skateboard when I was a young teenager. When I was a young teenager, I was there.
That was like last week.
That's been a long time ago. So I like seeing and they didn't have the entertainment kind of aspect of it back then. And if memory serves me correctly, I don't even think they had when it opened, there wasn't really a fully stocked or wow pro shop there either. It was pretty much it was pretty much just a skate park,
bare bones. yeah bare bones. Yeah, he's they've improved it a lot over the years, and their stage and their venue is awesome. The sound is great there, the lighting is great there. Curtis Leggett, he's an old school punker, he did the lighting there. And it's the other, like, Left on High played Spring Break like 2 years ago, and Rob actually crowd surfed on a bunch of teenage girls, and I was like filming it. I have it on, if you go to leftonhigh.com, you can see it. It's like the main image up there. Because he's like, if you don't know who he is, he's like 6'4" tall guy, And I was like, kind of like going, oh no, I hope he doesn't crush them. But those girls were like so awesome. They like tossed him around like he was a rag doll and threw him back up on stage. It was great.
All good stuff. All good stuff. Do you have do you have like a calendar of events that you're going to be doing out there coming up, or have you worked on anything like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, if you go to konaskatepark.com and click on the calendar events, you'll get the whole full calendar. And or you can go to their featured events, and it's like a slider that slides through everything going on out there.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. We'll provide the links on the YouTube channel, on the website, and everywhere else.
Okay.
I'll get a list of all your links and put them on there. But before we close out, yeah. Before we close, before we shut this steam engine down here, there's something else that you mentioned that you encouraged people to do, and that was people with trauma to look into adultchildren.org.
Yes. So I have I had a lot of trauma from my childhood. I was raised in a very like cultish, religious cult environment.
Mm-hmm.
And it was traumatic. Anyways,
sure.
Most of us at this point have trauma here. This world can be very traumatic. Whether it's coming from your family of origin or relationships along the way or whatever. I've read a million books, and I've been in therapy and I've been helped by all of those things, but like adultchildren.org is another word for it is ACA, and they're a 12-step program that deals with trauma, and they focus on trauma healing.
Mm-hmm.
And we focus on like inner child work. You can go to that website and get a book, or you can go to Amazon and get their book and just read their book. But they also have meetings all over the globe, and
mm-hmm.
they're free, and so it's a lot of times mental health therapy. If you're in the US, you don't get health care provided for you, so you have to pay for your own therapy.
Right.
So this is like a free organization, and it's like the island of misfits toys. Like I found community with this group of people.
Right.
They all have trauma in their background, but they're all in that room to work on healing the trauma.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be unlike other 12 steps, you don't have to be sober to participate. And so, I mean, what you learn when you're in there and you're wanting to heal, you learn that the more clean you can be, the better. But you don't have to be sober to participate. And it's about gaining, the focus is like emotional sobriety. And I didn't know what that was. I was very like, my issues were more codependent, and I never, like, knock on wood, I never had like the drug problem or a drinking problem, but I am surrounded by that. And so yeah, one saying is like Al-Anon teaches you how to live with an addicted person in your house, or in your life. And then ACA teaches you that you don't necessarily have to, but also it teaches you like that you are the person that you can fix. And stop trying to fix your family of origin, and stop trying to fix other people. Like fix yourself, and magically the magic is when you fix yourself, the more you fix yourself, the more you focus on your own healing, the more your world magically gets better. And these are concepts I didn't know early on. And people ask you, like, what would you do if you went back in time? And I would have loved to have had ACA or the Big Red Book, or, maybe trauma informed therapy, right? So I had therapy, but they weren't trauma informed, right? Like the old school of mental health care was like, we're going to give you a label and we're going to put you on drugs. Well, I'm not a pill popper. I don't want to be on Big Pharma's drugs or street drugs,
Right.
I don't want that. I'm interested in who I am, and I can't explore who I am if I'm numbed or checked out or, not paying attention. So it's like I'm into mindfulness and yoga and that kind of stuff.
Well, you mentioned trauma-informed therapy. Recently I had Dr. Dawn Emmerich on, and we talked about her program of trauma-informed leadership. And she also, that's one of our past episodes. You can find it. Also,
I can't wait.
Yeah, several of the last few guests that we've had on, we talked about past trauma. Some of them are therapists, and some of them have their own programs out there. Johnny Roberts, she's working on sustainability for the planet, but we also talked about trauma in the world. And like you mentioned, with childhood trauma, there seems to be an awful lot of people coming out these days, within the last several years, of course, that are experiencing that. Not physical trauma.
Oh, yeah.
It's not loss of whatever, their home, their family, what have you. But it a lot of it, just like you said, with your own experience growing up in, like you said, a cult-like atmosphere. There's a lot of people just like you out there that are coming out now and saying, you know what, that happened to me too.
Yeah. There's a lot of religious trauma out there, but it all boils down to like addictive personalities and like generational trauma passed down. And so you learn to kind of like look at your parents' circumstances and forgive them, and kind of like once you've like put the pieces together there, then it helps you with the capacity to have compassion for where they were and they did the best they could do. And so then it takes the focus off of external or the other people in your world, and gets you to focus on you and what you can do about it for yourself, and how you can like reparent yourself, and how you can honor your inner child now. And that it's just language that is not common out there. It's not. If I had my way, 12 steps would be taught in like elementary school, because it's just a way of thinking, critical thinking. It's like how to think through a problem. And it's just a method of asking yourself the right questions. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Is it serving you? Do you want to continue to do this, or do you want to learn another way?
Right.
And who can you get to help you along that journey? So ACA is great because we have this thing called fellow travelers instead of sponsors. And because a lot of us have authority problems, and we don't want to be told what to do.
Sponsors can be authoritative.
Yes. So, some people need that. I mean, I don't have anything against the other 12-step groups. It's just that I am more of a codependent, and I was actually raised in a dysfunctional family. So it's about alcoholics and dysfunctional families. So just so you can have a dysfunctional family, like my parents didn't drink, but that was because they were responding to their parents' alcoholic issues, right? So their response to that environment was to be teetotalers and to be like super religious, and they were trying to raise us with the values of that alcohol can be very toxic and terrible for a home life
for the whole family.
but
For the whole family. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so there's like no end of conversation, information about that, but they, at the same time, they still pass down a lot of the dysfunction that they had from their upbringing to us. So I had, self-esteem problems that were ridiculous. And this is all hindsight, but basically, I was given, fortunately, I have a strong personality. And I rejected a lot of the programming on the surface. I've always kind of looked successful. I mean, I've been kind of successful. I went to, college, and I've had this nice, really awesome career, and, and I kind of do what I want. But on the inside, like all of that, you're not worthy, you're not good enough, how you are is not acceptable. And, specifically with this particular church, I was taught that I'm such a bad person in this life as just being human and being who I am. And I'm so terrible that not only do I deserve to suffer in this lifetime, but I also deserve to spend eternity in a lake fire with hell and brimstone.
Right.
So it's just like, you're telling this to like little kids and they're like wondering why they have self-esteem problems. Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I hear you. I was raised in a Southern Baptist home, and I can relate.
That's what it was, Southern Baptist.
Yeah. We had a pastor that in the church I grew up in. Every now and again, it wasn't every sermon, but every now and again he had that hellfire and brimstone sermon. He'd be slamming his hands on the Bible, on the pulpit, and he's going to town, breaking a sweat.
Yeah, so
pretty theatrical.
So that's was dramatic.
I know.
And then but so the way it manifested in my life was, it wasn't I wasn't on the drugs and the booze, but who I chose for my significant other in my world. So who I chose as a boyfriend in my relationship was always a hot mess. To put it lightly. And so, but then at the same time, it was like my family didn't like who I was dating ever. But I didn't see that. Usually, like usually people run whoever they're dating by their family to get a read on it. Like, do we like this person or no? This person going to fit with our family? That's how a normal family should work, right? Or how a loving, nurturing, supportive family would work. But my family never liked anybody I dated, but my family didn't like me, or that's how I felt. They did not like me.
Well, that's been very enlightening, talking about this. It's a very important subject. Hey, it's been a joy having you on the program. I know that was a deep subject for you there at the end, but it's something that something that people need to talk about. Before we go, do you have any closing thoughts? Just a real short.
Yeah. So what I'd like to close with is like my mantra right now, which is very helpful for all of that. My mantra is, love is the lesson, right? Love is the lesson. Self-love is the answer.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Well, until we meet again, like I said, it's been a pleasure having you on the program. I'm glad that we were able to get around to getting this done, and you're welcome to come back anytime.
Great. Thank you for having me. I love your podcast. I've actually learned a lot from watching it. It's so great to like get to know some of the other people around here. This
Mhm.
town is so filled with so many amazing people, and they don't get enough spotlight. So thank you so much for what you're doing. Seriously.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Well, that's a wrap. Another fantastic episode of the podcast. You can find us on all the social media platforms, wherever you surf, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter X, Threads, wherever. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. And on our YouTube channel, don't forget to like, share, comment, and smash that subscribe button. If you're streaming audio for the podcast, you can find us wherever you get your favorite podcast programs. In the meantime, I like to tell everybody, take care of yourselves and each other. Until next time, peace.